Exactly.
Then the last one is brand expansion, because who doesn't want to expand their brands? Because of course the biggest and you realize these companies that have multiple clubs, that own multiple clubs, they have two small clubs, but they have a bigger guy, the bigger club, the Manchester City.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that one on top of the pyramid. That is the main brand.
So these guys uses these small clubs to help them expand their brand across the world. As I mentioned, City Group has 13 different clubs. Let me just mention to you some of them.
You have
Manchester City, Girona, Lommel SK in Belgium. There's Troyes in French League. Also Palermo. Palermo is in Italia. New York City.
Mumbai
City, of course, and Melbourne City.
Yes, and that Melbourne is in Australia.
So you would find a player is developing at Melbourne City in Australia. Once amefika at an age that he can now come and play he can now play in Europe. City will take such a player and now play for them. But the development imefanyika pale. But this MCO, it's called MCO, multi-club ownership, has its own challenges.
Yeah, of course it has its own challenges. Yes.
And one of the challenges is there's a bit of the competitive integrity, right? Because sometimes you just find clubs just buying for the sake of buying. My club, Chelsea, we buy so many players. Then we go and dump them. Let me just use the word dump. We go and dump them at Strasbourg, because Strasbourg and Chelsea are co-owned by the Blue company.
Yes.
that is run by likes of Egbali and of course Todd Bowley.
Yes.
So there's that element of integrity, and then conflict of interest arises.
Yeah, and of course the main one is called conflict of interest. We saw the Crystal Palace one, Crystal Palace Lyon, and I think that when we come back now we'll touch on that as well, because now UEFA has a rule against that. Because if you are going to participate in their tournaments, you can't have two clubs with the same owner in the same competition. So I think we will touch on that more on that.
At Chelsea had before the season ended last season, there were rumors that should they qualify for Europa League and maybe Strasbourg also qualify for Europa League, there could be a problem. And then I think it reached a point where Chelsea leadership started thinking, okay, what do we do? What can we do to safeguard the bigger guy, which is Chelsea, and then sacrifice this small guy, Strasbourg? If in a situation that both of them qualify for Europa League, what do we do to Strasbourg, and also what do we do to Chelsea? They were thinking around that, but we are going to go into the details of which club is owned by who, and
Yes, and also you remember Manchester City were able to play in the Champions League, and Girona also able to play in the Champions League. So there are situations like that where both clubs can play, but they have to
tweak some shares up.
Inaitwanga some loophole so that can happen. It's also something I think we also touch on it.
This is Sport FM 105.0 FM Nairobi, and of course 107.3 and Sport FM Beyond Sport.
Sport FM Beyond Sport.
Welcome back to Sport FM 105.0 FM in Nairobi and 107.3 in Mombasa.
Yes, and of course it's Sport FM KE on all social media platforms. On our bios on social media, there's a link there. You can click that link and listen to us from wherever you are.
You can also reach us on 0733333105. That is our studio WhatsApp number. Send us a message and we shall be reading them here on the breakpoint. Time now is 28 minutes past 11. We are talking about MCO, multi-club ownership in football. And before we went for a break, you were mentioning about Crystal Palace. But before you come in with Crystal Palace, another challenge with this MCO is the fact that the smaller clubs at the lower pyramid also have a feeling that wameachwa nyuma, because when you grow these two bigger ones, you grow Manchester City, you invest in Manchester City, you invest in Chelsea, you put all the money, you buy all the best players for Chelsea and Manchester City, but the other small clubs kind of become feeder clubs. Unapata tu like the players that the bigger guy might not want to have. So growth-wise, the smaller clubs will feel like they are not part of your growth plans.
Yeah, of course there's that, and also they feel they have lost their independence. Because even these small clubs, as we say, small clubs, they may not be small, but they also have their own ambition.
And
they want
followers.
they want to to play Champions League, they want to play Europa League, they want to play in the best of the best in the leagues, and also their own leagues. So most of the time they will feel left behind. They'll feel like we are not they are not getting the same consideration as the rest.
Yes.
So there's that challenge as well. Yes.
And Crystal Palace won the FA Cup last year. And that, by winning the FA Cup, the result was to play in the UEFA Europa League. But UEFA dropped them from the Europa League to the UEFA Europa Conference League.
Yes.
Because of this multi-club ownership. The owner had some stakes with Lyon.
Yeah, it was actually the majority.
The majority owner of Lyon.
Of Lyon.
And the UEFA rules say that you cannot have majority ownership in two clubs that are participating in the same competition.
Yes, even I'll just read the rule. It says, no club, either directly or indirectly, holds or deals in securities or shares of any other club participating in the UEFA club competition. No club is a member of any other club participating in UEFA club competition. No one has any power whatsoever or simultaneously involved, directly or indirectly, in any capacity whatsoever in the management, administration, or sports performance of more than one club participating in a UEFA club competition.
So they were dropped from Europa League to Conference League because their owner, John Textor, had shares with Lyon.
Yeah, he
and
had
also
majority.
Crystal Palace.
Yes, he had majority shares at Lyon, and also, of course, he has shares at Crystal Palace. But they were aware, but they didn't act in time because they were given a period of time. There's
Grace
a deadline.
period.
Yes, there's a grace period. There's a deadline. But when it reached that deadline, they had not, surrendered or find a way or solution to that problem. And one of the solutions, if he is the majority owner in Lyon, one of the solutions was either to sell his shares, to just remain with 30%. If you remain with 30%, you're okay. You are not a majority shareholder in that organization in Lyon. That is one option. Another option is to transfer his shares into a trust. Yes, when you transfer your shares into a trust, you're okay. You have complied with the UEFA rules, and they were not able to do that in time, so they had to be dropped out.
And after being dropped from UEFA Europa League, ndio sasa akamua kuuza shares zake za Lyon to his business partner called Hoodie Johnson. So I think he did that a bit late. If maybe Textor might have thought of doing that before early enough, I think Palace would be playing in the UEFA Europa League this season.
Yeah, they would have.
Blunder.
Yeah, and of course, when you put it in a trust, it has to be overseen by a UEFA appointed panel to oversee that as well. So, in a shortcut. So it's either or. So you have to pick your poison. Which one to use. Now, in that context, now it was an opportunity for Nottingham Forest now to be, to take that position that Crystal Palace were dropped out.
Now the Nottingham Forest also, they're also involved in multi-ownership because the owner Socrates Komanakis had some shares with Olympiacos. So he had to sell the shares so that he's not seen to be the majority shareholders within these two clubs, that is Olympiacos and also Nottingham Forest.
Yes. Yeah.
So rules are rules that I think Nikama, it caught up with some guys. If you are not clever enough, like the Todd Bowley for Chelsea, if you are not clever enough, it caught up with some of these club owners because there's no need of a team like Crystal Palace winning the FA Cup. Yeah. And then that brings them the Europa League. Then the top leadership of that club did not see that our owner is having a stake here and the other side. So I think ni kama walilala
and it shows,
kidogo.
it shows the challenge as well. The challenge of having this multi-club ownership. It shows that if you're not careful enough, you won't be participating in UEFA competitions, because you really need to be very cognizant of the number of shares you hold in the different clubs. It's really important, and I think it's another way of UEFA to try and mitigate sort of fairness, at least fairness around the clubs,
around
all the clubs and all the leagues as well. Yes.
And there's a report that was released in 2023 that indicated, I know that number has now grown upwards. In 2023, around 180 clubs were found to be part of multi-club ownership. That was research that was done by UEFA. That was 2023. And I believe by now, the numbers have really gone up, because there's, as I was talking about appetite, the appetite of owning different and many clubs across the world has grown.
And of course, football has grown as well. Football is now very, very global, because there are those who are specifically in multi-club ownership of football, but there are those who have diversified, like the Red Bull. Red Bull has diversified to F1. They have their own F1 team as well. So there are those who have done that, but those specifically for football. Because what I've seen is 50% of teams in the English Premier League at the moment are part of an MCO.
Apart from?
Are part of the MCO.
Are part of MCO.
Yes. So 50% of all the clubs in the EPL.
And I think this could be by the fact that most of could be 80% of EPL clubs are not owned by English.
And then that's another conversation now, because most American owners as well, the number of American owners in the English Premier League, wako wengi, so and they like that type of ownership. Structures and strategy. They like the MCOs, the FSG. FSG is also that on their own Liverpool Football Club, but them, their only football club they have is Liverpool, but they have diversified.
In other sports.
Yes, they are in NHL. And then there's also the American football as well. So they have diversified. Them we maintain two football, it's one club, and then we diversify to other sports.
Like even Todd Boehly and the Co and the Blue Co, yes, in as much as they have Chelsea, they have Strasbourg from France. Even in UCO in the US, they have the Dodgers. They own Dodgers. I think they play
MLS and then MLS.
And MLS. So it's a bit of getting into football in Europe and also diversifying other sports. I think for them, they think that model works, and they're trying to bring it in Europe. That over the years, Europe football clubs have always been owned by one company or one individual, right?
Yes. And I think there's a bit of pushback as well for the English want to maintain their Englishness in football. They are very, very, they have pride in how they run their football. Because I think there's somewhere I read, they kind of now feel we find out we need to control how many clubs or foreign owned, because they feel like we are losing our identity. And then they are losing their identity as well. And football is a big thing for the English.
So do you think by the fact that they let foreign owners kuingia into to owning, from the point these foreigners started owning these clubs, I think hapo ndio makosa ilifanyika, because sasa ukianza if they start trying to manage na tayari washaingia, you've mentioned 50% of the clubs
have the multi-club
and the rest of them, like 80% of those clubs, are owned by foreigners. Could it be that from the point that these foreign owners, when they accepted them, because these foreigners will come, they injected money into these clubs, then what were the Englishmen?
They should have done it earlier, because now it will be difficult now to put mitigations or to put reservations. It will be difficult. But I think if they have done it earlier, wanasema we can only give a certain number, a certain number of clubs. You can own a certain number of clubs. It could have been easier, but now already you have
and that's
foreign owners.
That's what's happening in Bundesliga, because Bundesliga there's a rule that says 50+1.
Yes.
That And that 50+1 rule is just there to safeguard the clubs.
And to make sure fans
are also involved.
part of the club.
Yes.
Yes.
But when you bring these foreign owners, fans zingine, they don't have a say. Because there's a time Chelsea football fans really complained. There was a time even Manchester United fans invaded Old Trafford. They were complaining about the American owners because they thought that the American owners were not doing the right thing to take the club forward. So these foreign the foreign owners and the multi MCOs, they kind of forget about the fans. I don't know if they don't think that fans are integral part of a football club. Yes, having fans and having that 50+ rule that is working in the Bundesliga is good, but pia hiyo iko na issue yake because growing that kusaidia to grow that league pia
there's no money.
There's no money
if Bundesliga is struggling. I think they're the second last or third last because Serie A is on another level. Serie A is struggling because I think them it's more or less the broadcast is very very poorly distributed. But yes, Bundesliga clubs are really struggling because of that. You can't bring in an investor to inject money because of the
later,
exactly the 50+1 rule
is gone.
It's gone and it has to be maintained. And that's why I think Red Bull the Red Bull clubs walipata vita sana the Leipzig mapema because of that, but eventually they were accepted. So I think eventually these clubs, the Bundesliga, they have to rethink their strategy. Because if you want to compete with the English Premier League, with the money in the English Premier League and the La Ligas, they have to re-strategize. They have to get money pumped in their league. And they're not getting it from broadcast as well. So now they have to find another way of getting money injected and getting the best talent as well. Because now most of their talent are leaving. Wanaenda Bundesliga, wanaenda Premier League. So they're struggling. So they really have to think of a way to re-strategize. And eventually...
And it's a good league.
They will have to adapt it.
The modern ways
of doing it. Either people, one owner comes and buys majority shares in
and pumping the money
for growth. Yes.
All right. This is Sport FM. We're talking about multi-club ownership in football, MCO. When we come back, we'll look at these the clubs that are involved in MCOs. There are so many. And then Africa, it's not that big. Because in Africa, ni kama investors wanachukua tu club moja, they pump in their money, and then they...
And it's because of resources, I think.
I think so, because of resources. Yeah. When we come back, we'll look at those clubs that are involved in the multi-club ownership. Who are they? And how are they doing currently? When we come back, this is Sport FM.
Sport FM, Beyond Sport.
X, and this is from Bridget Siante. She says, I think it might affect the integrity and fairness of the game. This is mainly an answer to the question we had asked. Do you support the rise of multi-club ownership in football?
Yes.
Where one investor controls several teams across different leagues, or do you think it threatens the integrity and fairness of the game?
Fantastic. Now, we are still discussing that matter, the MCO, multi-club ownership in football. And you mentioned something to do with putting, when these business people, when these companies find that they find themselves in a situation like Crystal Palace and Lyon, and some of these people put a club in a trust. Like we are told that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, whose Ineos is part of the shareholders at Manchester United, put a club that he owns, Nice in France, and Lausanne Sport FC in Switzerland in a trust. City Group also put Girona into a trust. So they do this to avoid that conflict of interest part that we're talking about.
Yes. You have to find a way. And as I said, there are two options. Either you put them in a trust that is overseen by a UEFA appointed panel, or reduce the stake. If you have a majority stake or whatever stake you have, you have to reduce it to below 30%. Yes.
Now, just to take you through this, the City Group owns 13 clubs, I said. There's Manchester City, there's Girona, there's Lommel SK, there's Troyes, there's Palermo, there's Melbourne City, there's Mumbai, there is Club Bolivar, there is Bahia, and there's New York City. Those clubs, the New York, Bahia, and Club Bolivia, those are from the Americas. The Blue Coat Company, that owns Chelsea Football Club and Strasbourg of France.
Yeah.
And we've seen some deals happening between Chelsea and Strasbourg. Chelsea buy, then they take
Actually,
them to
it's
loan.
Bluco, and then there's Bluco buying,
Yes.
and then they take them to Strasbourg
Yes.
for
On loan.
On loan kidogo,
then
then they'll find their way to Chelsea.
Yes. Players like Uli and Ciso was supposed to
go to
but
Strasbourg.
the deal collapsed.
It collapsed
because
yes.
of
I think
injuries.
him it's more or less, and he failed his medical, so I
Yes.
think it's one of a recurring. I think he's recovering from an ACL. I think he had a very big injury either last season or season before,
Yes.
that has kept him out for a long time.
For a very long time.
Yeah.
So there's also Mike Penders, who is a goalkeeper for Chelsea, but is now has been taken on loan to Strasbourg. There's Kenry Paez. There's Mamadou Sarr, this is the third time he's on loan from Chelsea to Strasbourg, and we're being told that's the last. I think you can only go on loan to the same club 3 times. After that, Chelsea itabidi watafute somewhere else.
Find a solution
If they don't feel like he's good enough for Chelsea Football Club. And of course, even Andre Santos, who's now with the Chelsea team, was at Strasbourg last season. And even the goalkeeper for Bournemouth, George Petrovic, was on loan at Strasbourg last season. So Bluco owns Chelsea and Strasbourg. Then the Red Bull. Red Bull owns RB Leipzig,
yes.
New York Red Bulls, Red Bull Bragantino from Brazil, Red Bull Brazil,
Yes.
and then Red Bull Salzburg from Australia. From
Austria. Yes.
And then they have a minority stake with Leeds United. Yes.
And then, as I said, for them, they have really diversified. They're also in F1
F1,
as
yes.
well.
We see them in F1.
Exactly. So different clubs use different strategies. Either they can be in different sports, or maybe it's just purely football. Others are in football, F1, NHL, and MLB as well. Yes. So it depends on the club strategy. Yes.
And Eagle Football Holdings owns Olympic Lyon and Crystal Palace.
Yeah, that is the owner. Main owner is John Textor.
Yeah, John Textor.
Yes.
Then, of course, there's also another. It kind of started in Africa recently. Kingsley Pungong created a team in Cameroon called Rainbow FC, and then there's also another Rainbow in Kenya.
Yes,
but the one in Kenya recently was rebranded to Glorions FC. But I think
I think that was the idea.
Yes, the MCO was the idea.
Yeah, I think it was the idea, because as we said earlier, it has not really taken root in Africa yet, and mainly and majorly because of resources.
Money.
Yes, resources and capacity. Our clubs or we don't have that capacity yet. But I think Rainbow tried it because the main group is the Rainbow World Group. So it's media and sports. It's a media and sports company. Yes, so they had one in Cameroon.
And one in Kenya.
And then, one in Kenya, but now I think it collapsed because they were dropped to the NSL. Yes, and then they now had to rebrand, and I think maybe they got out of the market. So it's still fairly new in Africa, and I'm just looking forward to see if we as Africa, we are able to get something similar-ish, how it will look like.
And how it will work within
and how
the
it will
African
work within the African market, because the African market is a bit different. Because now we have all the talent here. Tuko na talanta mzuri here, especially now you have West Africa. Big talent come from West Africa. How do we go about it? And speaking of West Africa, something that caught my eye, it's a Right to Dream. It's an academy in Ghana. One of the best academies in West Africa. Then they started just as a football academy. But eventually, just from the sales and the money they made from their sales in Europe, selling players in Europe, they were able to acquire the Danish club called Nordsjælland FC. Yes, they acquired that. So they take their players from here, they go through that club as well,
and then develop there,
and then find their way through Europe. And also, they have a majority owner or have an ownership in the new MLS side, San Diego FC.
San Diego FC.
Yes. So you see, that one is
So at
a
least-
bit different strategy. This is an academy now
In Africa.
in Africa.
But going outside.
By going outside and getting a club in Europe and a club in the US.
In the US.
Very, very interesting strategy.
Yes. And then Michael Kang, or Michel Kang, Michel Kang owns Washington Spirit in the USA. That is that team plays in the National Women's Soccer League in the USA. Then Olympic Lyon Femmes. That's the women team for Lyon. Then London City Lionesses. And I think London City Lionesses were promoted the other day to the WSL. We are going to see them in the Women Premier League next season. So that's another MCO. But Michel Kang, as an MCO of just getting into the women's football.
And that is just purely the
Purely
women.
women football.
Yeah, that's another interesting strategy as well. Because if you've seen now, it's gone out to the women's as well.
Yes.
It's a great point to follow. And of course, my favorite, second favorite team, in the English Premier League, Brighton. Brighton and their ownership. Because I've always been fascinated with every time there's 100 million player every season.
Brighton has to be mentioned.
Yes, they leave. Majority of their players go to other clubs, but they have this ability to bring other talent and sell for 100 million, sell for 80 million. Their strategy is very, very interesting because now for him, their owner, Tony Bloom, what he does, he buys small shares in different clubs in the world. Kidogo tu.
Jaza kebab.
Exactly. And then it forms a way of now talent development. For them, it's talent development and sharing of data.
So if you look at Brighton recently, just 5 years ago, just within the 5 years, we've seen Brighton kind of sell good players.
Good players, good money.
Players that before they went to Brighton, hatukuwa tunawajua.
You don't know them, they come out of
then
nowhere.
All of a sudden they play one season, unashtuka Caicedo, unashtuka McAllister.
Yes.
Aje.
Then
they say, okay, Sisi, we want to sell 120 million. Decide.
Yes.
If you want.
And they sold Caicedo for 106.
Yes.
And then McAllister 35. Even that would surprised me because McAllister is 100 million player.
Of course, yes.
And then now you have Baliba, who is also now put on the 100 million caliber.
So when Caicedo was there, nobody knew Baliba.
Nobody knew Baliba.
Caicedo left, Baliba
ndio huyo.
Now Man United want him. Bloom akasema bana 130.
Yes. So it's a strategy that they have been using. So they have different they're in different clubs but on small shares, small. And then for them it's about sharing data and resources. Resources and clubs and then the main goal is to punch above their weight. And you have seen Brighton do that. They punch above their weight. So he has also a minority shares in Royal Union Gilose in Belgium. All
right, and then there's another family called the Pozzo family, owned Udinese and Watford. Watford is are in the Championship in England. They were in the Premier League a few years ago. But recently, Gianpaolo Pozzo recently sold Udinese. So to his brother. Then we have not mentioned Newcastle. Newcastle is also another team that is involved in the MCO, Saudi Public Investment Fund, Newcastle United, Al Ali, Al Ittihad, Al Hilal, and Al Nasr.
Yeah, know them. They are owned by a state. PIF.
Yes.
But now for them FFP mewakalia. They have the money, but they can't spend it heavy. It has to they have to be a bit regulated, and that's another conversation we can have as well.
Yes. So that basically marks the end of our conversation regarding MCO, the multi-club ownership within football. We've taken you through some of these clubs around the world that are involved in multi-ownership around the world: Chelsea, Manchester City, Red Bull, and all these clubs. And one of the reasons, as Hilda was saying, reasons why these people would want to get involved in MCO is player development, financial efficiency, scout networks, and also the brand expansion. Of course, this MCO has its own challenges that we have discussed, but it is something new and it is going to grow.
And yes, the growth has been immense so far.
Na atuachi hapa.
Yeah, because you've said
Itazidi.
50% of teams in the English Premier League are part of a multi-club ownership.
Yes. So when we come back, we have more sports to talk about here on Sport FM 105.0 FM in Nairobi, and of course 107.3 in Mombasa.
And of course, it's Sporty FM KE on all social media platforms. On the bios, there's a link pale. You can be